Hi, welcome to another video. In this video we are going to solve merge two sorted lists problem from the Leetcode. This problem is of easy level and which can be understood easily. So you are given the heads of two sorted linked lists. Merge the two lists into one sorted list. The list should be made by splicing together the nodes of the first two lists. Return the head of the merged linked list. What they mean is they will give two linked lists which are in sorted order. If you observe the first example where the first list is 1, 2 and 4, observe the value of the nodes, they are in increasing order. 1 is less than 2, 2 is less than 4, like that nodes are in increasing order. And if you observe the second linked list, that is 1, 3, 4, the elements which are present in the second list are also in increasing order. So we need to merge these two things into a single list, and this resulting linked list should also be in sorted order. This is the requirement. So initially we have two ones and they will come first, and if you consider both the linked list, then 2 is the smaller value, then 2 comes next. After 2, 3 is the smallest value, then 3 comes, and after 3 there are two 4s which are present, and then both the 4s will come. So this is the approach for solving this problem. What we can do is we can choose any of the node which is smaller. So initially we will keep two pointers to list 1 and list 2, and if list 1 value is lesser, then we will choose the node from list 1, or if list 2 value is lesser, then we will choose the value from list 2. So as long as we have some valid nodes either in list 1 or list 2, we will continue this process, and finally we will return the head of the new linked list. So let us start writing solution for the same thing. So what we can do is they are giving head to two lists, that is L1 and L2. So what we can do is we can create a dummy head. So dummy head, this can be anything. So initially list node of -1. Finally we will return dummy next pointer, next node to the dummy head. So this is the dummy head, and our current will point to the dummy head as of now. As of now we are in dummy head, and list 1 is pointing to head of the first list, and list 2 is pointing to head of the second list. So as long as we have some valid nodes, that is either list 1 or list 2 is not none, this means we have a valid node either from L1 or L2. So then we can check if both the list 1 and list 2 are pointing to a valid node in their respective lists. In that case, this if case will be true, list 1 and list 2. If both are not none, then we need to choose the lesser value. So if list 1 dot val is less than or equal to list 2 dot val, then what we should do is we should choose the value from list 1 dot val, because this is the lesser value. So current dot next becomes list node of, we will create a node with the list 1 dot val, because this is the lesser value, and then we will move the current pointer. Current equals current dot next, and since we have chosen value from list 1, we have to move the list 1 pointer to forward. So list 1 will be equal to list 1 dot next. So otherwise, if list 2 value is lesser, then we have to choose value from the list 2. So current dot next will be equal to list node of list 2 dot val, and we need to move the current forward. Current equals current dot next, and then since we have chosen value from the list 2, that is list 2, we have to move the list 2 pointer forward. List 2 will be equal to list2.next. I am observing some common code here, but later we can deal with that common part. Okay. This if case is true when list 1 and list 2 pointers are pointing to some valid nodes in the list. What happens if list 2 pointer reaches the end of the list 2? If list 2 is shorter than the list 1, then list 2 will reach end of that list. So that time we need to check what if only list 1 is true. So if this is the case, then we will choose the value from list 1. So current dot next will be equal to list node of list 1 dot val. Since we have node set only list 1, we are choosing the node from list 1, and then we will move the current pointer forward. Current equals current dot next. And after this, since we have chosen from the list 1, we need to move the list 1 pointer forward. List 1 equals list 1 dot next. If this is not the case, then we know that only list 2 is true. List 2 is pointing to some valid nodes and list 1 was shorter than the list 2. So in that case, list 1 becomes none, and this else case will become true. So current dot next will be equal to list node of list 2 dot value. This is the value we are choosing because only list 2 has the valid nodes. So then we need to move the current pointer forward. Current equals current dot next. And then since we have chosen node from the list 2, we have to move this pointer forward. So list 2 equals list 2 dot next. After doing all these things, we can now we have created a merge list and with the dummy head. So we don't need this dummy head now. We can directly return dummy head dot next. Let us submit the solution and check whether it is passing the initial test cases. Yes, as you can see here, the solution is passing the initial test cases. Before submitting the solution, let us discuss about time and space complexity. For time complexity, we will go through both the lists once. So if there are m nodes at list 1 and n nodes at list 2, then our time complexity becomes O of n plus n, where m is the number of nodes in the first list and n is the number of nodes in the second list. And what is the space complexity? For space complexity, we are creating a list with all these nodes. So our space complexity will also be m plus n, where m is the number of nodes in the list 1 and n is the number of nodes in the second list. Let us submit this solution and check whether it passes the initial test, all the test cases or not. We are sure that it is passing the initial test cases, and let us submit this solution and check whether it passes the initial test cases. Yes, as you can see here, this solution is passing all the test cases. If you are interested in learning more about other data structures and algorithm related problems, you can consider checking out other videos from my channel. Thanks for watching this video. If you are interested in learning more about other programming topics, you can consider subscribing to my channel.